सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Let all become happy, let all become healthy, let all attain good, let none suffer in the whole world. Om peace, peace, peace. The chairperson of this meeting, Padma Shri Dr. Vijay Bhatkar, Dr. Manmat Garote, Sri R.J. Tavade, respected Bhau Maharaj, respected Swami Asanganandji, other respected Swamijis, and dear friends, the delegates who have come from India and other countries. I'm extremely happy to be here this morning. At the outset, I would like to thank Mr. Manmat Garote for giving me this opportunity of meeting you all in this beautiful place at Lonavala, beautiful atmosphere, pleasant climate, and of bringing so many genuine spiritual aspirants and yoga teachers from all over the world at one stage. I'm extremely happy to be here. At the outset, I would like to congratulate the organizers, the Lonavala Yoga Institute, particularly Dr. Manmat Garote, for organizing this seminar. This is international seminar on yoga and spirituality, which is very rightly pointed out by him in his welcome address, is the need of the hour. Very important subject. And also for various novel activities which are being carried out by this institution. Just now we released a very important book, which is a series of various other books that have been already published from this institution. And I am very happy that Dr. Manmat Garote is walking in the footsteps of his father, of his late father, who did so many novel activities, including bringing out these various useful publications. I particularly would like to point out to a publication, Encyclopedia of Traditional Asanas. I think it is a monumental work and it will go a long way in preventing various other misconceptions and also the misuse and the patenting being done on the asanas. Because the encyclopedia is already there, I hope now nobody would venture to go for patenting of the asanas at least. Because nowadays they are going for patenting in the other countries. Whatever they hold their hands on, it may be even a tree like neem, they are also getting patented, and maybe tomorrow asanas. So at least the encyclopedia of asanas will prevent them from this patenting. I also take this opportunity of paying my homage to late Dr. M.L. Garote, the father of Dr. Manmat Garote, whose death anniversary coincides with today, and in his honor we are meeting today and we have this seminar. He was a noble man, he has done noble activities, and he has done lot of humanitarian work, particularly for preserving the tradition of our yoga system, which is a very important one. The work started by Swami Vivekananda in 1893 and 94. You know, Swami Vivekananda went in 1893 to participate in the World's Parliament in Chicago. And there for the first time the world Parliament religion, Swami Vivekananda, removed all this delusion from the minds of the people all over the world, and they all came to know that India has the traditional wisdom of thousands of years which the whole world needs. In fact, the New York Herald, one of the greatest times, the newspapers of that time, wrote, the greatest figure in the Parliament religions is Swami Vivekananda. So many religious preachers had come from all over the world, but New York Herald said, the greatest figure in the Parliament of religions is Swami Vivekananda. And the second sentence is more important. He says, the paper says, after listening to him, we feel how foolish and how far to send missionaries to India. Their religion is so great that rather we should invite missionaries from India. The whole scenario changed. That was a paradigm shift. That paradigm shift came, and Swami Vivekananda has to stay for 4 years in Western countries, in America and Europe, giving the message of this yoga and spirituality and Vedanta. And for the first time of 3,000 years, because we believe Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Patanjali, he wrote these Yoga Sutras, and he was at least about 3,000 years earlier, maybe 900 BC. So, Swami Vivekananda afterwards, for the first time, made it popular all over the world by writing his first book on Raj Yoga. Afterwards, he wrote books on Dhyana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Karma Yoga. But most of these books are based on the lectures that he delivered, compiled by others. But Raj Yoga is the one book where he himself edited the book after his lectures were compiled. So that is a Raj Yoga, unique book. This is how Raj Yoga became popular. Now today I am very happy. Yoga has become very popular. In 1897, Swami Vivekananda returned to India after conquering the Western countries with his Vedanta. And then he was given warm reception. In reception to that welcome, he delivered his very fiery speeches. In one of the speeches in Chennai, lecture named My Plan of Campaign, he talked about a dream. He said, India shall conquer the whole world by spiritual power, not by nuclear bomb. Swamiji did not want to go for violence. Swamiji did not, he said, this is the greatness of India. Never in the history, India has ever invaded any country throughout its history of 5,000 years. Never, never, never. And we would not invade. But yes, we want to invade in another way, by our spiritual power, spiritual civilization, the spiritual culture. The whole world is in need of it. I am very happy. Yoga is becoming very popular. In fact, yesterday before starting for Bombay, I thought, let me find out what is in the internet on this subject, yoga and spirituality. So I went to Google. And Google search, I found 1,43,000 entries in this subject. I closed it. Because no time. I have to now go, and my reporting time is there for the airport. So I said nothing to it. 1,43,000. That shows the popularity of yoga. All over the world, yoga has become an in word, which has become very popular. In fact, one of the newspapers said, America's going gaga over yoga. And they giving the news, 75% of the fitness clubs are having regular courses on yoga, compulsory courses on yoga. 92 out of 125 medical schools are having compulsory courses on alternative medicine, which includes yoga and meditation. It's becoming very popular all over the world. That's a very good thing. And on 4th August 2003, the Time magazine, being brought out from New York, had a special article. On the front page was the photograph of a Hollywood actress meditating. Hollywood actress meditating. Inside there is a special article. The name of the article was Just Say Om. And it was told, scientifically giving all the facts regular meditation. And you cannot invite meditation in America now. Boardrooms, classrooms, airports, railway platforms, hospitals, prison houses, everywhere you have meditation chambers. 2004, I had been to UK to participate in the second International Conference on Disaster Management at Coventry, held by Coventry University. As you know, on 26 January 2001, we had an earthquake in Gujarat and a lot of disaster. And it is a tradition, as per the tradition of Ramakrishna Mission, started by Swami Vivekananda, worship of God in man. Whenever there is a disaster, the very first day we reach. So we reached, and then we carried out extensive relief work, and 200 million of rupees we spent for constructing 81 school buildings and 6 colonies. And so the international community wanted how we could do this work so quickly. And so I had gone there for the presentation. So I thought of taking this opportunity of visiting our centers in Europe, in Holland, Germany, France, Switzerland. My return flight was from Zurich to Bombay. And there was some time left, so I was strolling through the new airport that they have done. They have made in Zurich, beautiful airport, big market. I was strolling through the market in search of a book. Suddenly I found a signboard at Zurich airport, meditation chamber. Meditation chamber they have made at the airport, Zurich airport. Everywhere now they are going for meditation chamber. Meditation and yoga is becoming very popular. It's very good. Swami Vivekananda dreamed that Indian spirituality will invade the whole world. Why? Not for the glory of India. Because India has got a treasure, that nectar of Vedanta, that nectar of spirituality, that nectar of yoga. Let this nectar spread everywhere and save them from suicide. You know how many books are being published. People are suffering. People are suffering very much. The rate of suicide is going high. Many books are being published. There is a book being published in America. Derek Humphreys has written the book. The name of the book is The Final Exit. And the book is also exit, not available. After a long search, I found one in the bookshop. What is written there? I wanted to know what is written there. Such a popular book. Hot selling like hot cake. What is the written there? I found what is written there. How to commit suicide. Various ways and means of committing suicide. And the bestseller book name in Japan is The Complete Manual on Committing Suicide. Suicide User's Manual is the most famous book in France. People now want to commit suicide. The suicide rate is increasing in a very rapid way. And according to National Institute of Mental Health, 25% of the people in America are regularly going to psychiatrists. 42% of the executives and employers of 44 years and above are suffering from mental disorder in Japan, according to Ministry of Health Japan, and 100 new mental hospitals opening on an emergency scale. People are becoming mad, schizophrenic, suicide. They are not having mental peace. It is at this juncture. Because of that, and stress management has become a very important subject. According to Chicago-based Research Corporation, 40% of the companies in America are having regular courses on stress management. And the Western models of stress management are not working. Voodoo dolls, punching bags, head diaries, not working. You know, the Western psychologists say, you know why the stress comes? When you do not express your feelings, the emotions, they go into the subconscious mind and then they create problem. So you should express your feelings. My God, I go to the office and my boss fires me left and right without any justification, without any mistake on my part, just because when he came out of his house, his wife had fired at him and he cannot pay back. So he comes here and he fires at me without any justification, and I also want to pay back in the same fire. And I know also how to pay back the same. But if I speak, I will lose my job. So I pocket that insult, and those emotions go into the subconscious mind and create stress, and afterwards result in strain. So the Western psychology says you should express your feelings. My God, if I express my feelings, I will lose my job. Don't worry, we have got a solution. Go to the market and purchase voodoo dolls. Voodoo dolls are available along with the piece. Bring the voodoo dolls, close the doors and windows, and put the voodoo doll on your table, and then write down the name of your boss, or your mother-in-law, or your and write down and start pinching. Now 3 pins are available. Blue pins for pinching mildly. Then black pins are available if you want to pinch more, and if you want to give a serious injury, black pins are available. And if you want to murder your boss, red pins are available. Just murder and have a nice sleep. No need of tranquilizer. Because you murdered your boss, have a nice sleep. But unfortunate part of this, second morning when you go to the office, the boss is sitting on the chair again, what to do? You murdered him in your room, but again the boss is second in the chair. So these methods, voodoo dolls, head diaries, punching bags, these methods of stress management are not working. And that is why the whole world, Western world, including the Western world, they are all coming at the feet of yoga and meditation. These are the only methods of stress management. Very nice. I am very happy. They are all coming at the feet of yoga and meditation. This is one part of it. Now I will give second slide. Yoga and meditation, and particularly yoga, is also being misused. The word is being misused. Just the other day, 2 ladies, they walked into our center there in Baroda. You know, it is just opposite railway station. Swami Vivekananda himself stayed in that bungalow, Dilaram bungalow, that was handed over to us by the government of Gujarat for converting to befitting memorial of Swami Vivekananda, because Swami himself stayed there. So that bungalow is just opposite railway station. So anybody can walk in. So 2 ladies walked in and they asked one question. Do you have classes on yoga? I could understand both were competing with each other in increasing weight of their bodies. And so I knew what type of yoga they wanted was yogasana. I said, no, the type of yoga you are studying for, we are not having. We have Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Dhyan Yoga and Karma Yoga. But I think what you want is yogasana. Yes, we want to reduce our weight. Like, okay, then you go to so and so place. But this is what is there. Most of the time, yoga is being bracketed or is being labeled as yogasana. It is a misnomer. Yoga is not only yogasana. Yogasanas, of course, are very good and they will give you good physical health, very good, and is not nothing bad. Shariram Adyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. Physical health is the gateway to happiness and perfection and success, of course. So we must have good physical health, we must have asanas, no doubt about it. But that is not all about yoga. Yogasana is nothing but a part of Hatha Yoga. But to think that yoga is only Hatha Yoga will be a misconception. Let us remove this misconception from our mind. Yoga is not yogasana. Merely. It is only part of yoga. Yogasana, or is a part of only Hatha Yoga. Second thing is, yoga is also being bracketed with all miracle mongering and mystery mongering. There is nothing mystery about it. Swami Vivekananda says in his book Raj Yoga, in Raj Yoga there is no mystery about it. It is all open secret. Nothing secret. But some people want to make it secret. They are commercializing it, making it very cheap. And now is the age of propaganda and publicity and advertisement, various channels. And so they try to make money out of it and make it very cheap and very, and make it popular. And then in order to make it popular, they have miracle mongering and mystery mongering. So sometimes when I am traveling the train, Swami, please sit near. Everybody wants that I should sit near them. And then the first question is, do you know how to see the palm? Do you know astrology? Do you know palmistry? First question, no. We don't believe in seeing the palm because we believe you are the creator of your own destiny. Oh, you don't know how to see. Okay, do you know how to walk on water? No. Can you fly in air without an aeroplane? No. I always take air tickets with me when I have to fly. Oh, can you produce something out of nothing? Some sort of ash? No. So what type of yogi you are? What type of monk you are? Useless. So that means our conception is something miracle mongering. They just come to class. These miracles are a great handicap. They are impediments in the path of yoga. In fact, that is what the great teachers of yoga say. These are all obstacles. We have to be very careful about those obstacles. We get impeded because we do not know. These are all very good things. Physical health, mental health, meditation will give you mental peace, and stress management, very good. But the most million-dollar question is, what is the purpose of your life? Have you ever thought about it? This is the most important thing. What is the ultimate goal of yoga? I remember a Zen story. A horse was galloping at full speed. And somebody asked the person who was sitting on the horse, "Where are you going?" And the person said, "Ask the horse." Because it is the horse which is taking me. I am not taking the horse. We are not leading the life. Life is leading us. We do not know. It's a flock of sheep. All are going after popularity, so we also go after popularity. All are state. That is the state where we go beyond the limitations of time, space, and causation. We go beyond all limitations. We get infinite power, infinite energy, infinite happiness, infinite peace, and infinite life. We conquer that. That is the purpose of life. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga has come from the Sanskrit root word that is called yuj. Yuj means to unite. In fact, there is an English word that has come from Latin, that is yoke. Yoga, that means to yoke. Yoga means to join. It is the joining of an individual soul with the universal soul. An individual soul with the supreme soul. With the Jivatman, union between the Jivatman and the Paramatman. Merging of the spirit into the infinite spirit. That is merging of the consciousness into the super-conscious state. This joining is really yoga. We have forgotten about this yoga. That is the purpose of yoga. The ultimate purpose of yoga is to go beyond time, space, and position. And this is the true value of a human being. Dr. Albert Einstein, he says in his book, The World as I See It, he says, the true value of a human being is determined primarily by the measure and the sense in which he has attained to liberation from the self. Liberation from the self. Reaching infinite happiness. That is going beyond time, space, and causation. Becoming one with the Absolute. That is the purpose of life. And this is a special prerogative of human beings. The mystery, the ultimate mystery, is a book, Dr. Einstein and the Universe by Lincoln Barnett. Beautifully quotes about Niels Bohr. The great physicist Niels Bohr says, we are actors and spectators in this great drama of life simultaneously. Simultaneously, only a human being. A human being can become a spectator and actor simultaneously. Other species cannot have. They cannot go beyond themselves and observe what they are doing. This is a special prerogative. That is why Lincoln Barnett says, man has a unique capacity of transcending himself and perceiving himself in the act of perception. Man has a unique capacity of transcending himself and perceiving himself in the act of perception. One of the greatest physicists of our time, that is Paul Davies, he says in his book, The Mind of God, whole book he devotes to finding out mind of God. Ultimately he says, it is not possible to know the mind of God by objective method. Why? Because according to mathematics, we feel there cannot be more than one infinite, but according to mathematics there can be more than one infinite. And all these infinites together, he gave the name Cantor's Absolute. Now, how to know the Cantor's Absolute? Then he says, it is not possible to know the Cantor's Absolute because the Cantor's Absolute contains the mind of the knower. So how can you know the knower? So it can never be done by an objective method. And so at long last, Paul Davies says, perhaps the mystical process is the only process whereby we can know the mind of God. And once we know the mind of God, absolute, beyond time, space and causation, we become one with the infinite. Infinite power, infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite existence. That is the purpose. That is why now the modern science has told. Fritjof Capra wrote a book, The Tao of Physics, where she says, where Fritjof Capra says, physics and metaphysics are merging now in this modern world, when the modern quantum mechanics, after the uncertainty principle of Heisenberg, all the barriers are changing. The modern science is coming at the feet of spirituality. Physics and metaphysics are merging together, and we have to go for that scientific spirituality. That is the goal of life. One of the latest books by Dana Zohar is the latest book of Dana Zohar. She is a professor in Oxford University. SQ, Spiritual Intelligence, the Ultimate Intelligence. She says, neurologically, physiologically, biologically, psychologically, from every point of view, there is a concluding evidence. There is something called SQ, which is the basis of both IQ and EQ. And what is IQ? IQ will tell you how to play the game of life. Intelligence quotient. What is EQ? Emotional quotient. EQ will tell you how to play the game of life under changed circumstances with changed strategies. And what is SQ? SQ will tell you, spiritual quotient will tell you whether to play the game of life at all or not. So that is your choice. What is the meaning of life? What is the purpose of life? Why have we come to this earth? Where do we want to go? What is our ultimate destination? This will be answered by SQ. And another discovery in modern science, Dana Zohar says, IQ is available with all the species, including the computers. IQ is available with all the species, including the computers. EQ is available only with a few species. But SQ is available only with human species. Only with human species. That is a special prerogative of human beings. Only human beings can have SQ. Our scriptures say, old scriptures, thousands of years back they said, 84 lakhs of species are there in the whole world, out of which only human being can have spiritual knowledge. The modern science says, no. There are 1,25,000 species. Well, the difference is not much. 3,000 years back there was no microscope and still they say, and now cloning and everything is going on, So maybe that has multiplied, but there is not much difference. The old scriptures say 84 lakhs of species. Modern science says 1,25,000 species are there in the world. Out of those 1,25,000 species, only human beings can have SQ and no other species. This is modern science. So they are all coming at one point. We have got a special prerogative. We have a special privilege as human beings to develop this SQ, to manifest the perfection. That is the goal of life. That is why Swami Vivekananda puts it beautifully in his book on Raj Yoga. That is, you read the second chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Swami Vivekananda was the first one who translated into English during those times and gave a commentary in 1894. 1894, not 1994. 1894, Swami Vivekananda wrote Raj Yoga. And there, in the second chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, 25th shloka, he gives, what he gives is the gist of all of spirituality. Is the gist of Vedanta, is the gist of spirituality, is the gist of yoga. What does he say? Each soul is potentially divine. The goal of human life is to manifest this divinity within by controlling nature external and internal. Do this either by work, worship, self-control, or philosophy, by one or more or all of these, and be free. This is the whole of religion. Dogmas, rituals, worships, temples, forms, churches, mosques are but secondary details. He has given the whole gamut of spirituality and religion. Each soul is potentially divine. This is the first truth. Inside each and every human being, there is a center of consciousness which is beyond time, space and causation. Inside every human being, irrespective of caste, creed, color or religion. Each soul is potentially divine. Inside every human being there is Atman, the center of consciousness. But the Upanishad says, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atmana prakashate vishyate tvagraya buddhya shukshmaya shukmadarshini. Inside every human being there is this Atman which is not seen. Then what is the proof? How do we believe if it is not seen? But it is, the proof is, evidence is, some have seen it. Who have seen it? Those who have got extraordinary intelligence. Those who have SQ, they have seen it. Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudo atmana prakashate drishyate. Some people have seen it. Drishyate tvagraya buddhya shishmaya shishmadarshini. Narendranath Dutt was a college student who later on became Swami Vivekananda in later years. When he was a college student, he read the Western philosophers, Kant, Hegel, Spencer, and he became an agnostic. They are talking about God. Who has seen God? No, I don't believe. And any saint who used to come to Calcutta, he was at that time studying in Scottish Church College in Calcutta. Any saint coming to Calcutta, he would go there. You are talking too much about God. Please answer my question. Have you seen? Nobody could answer. And he became frustrated. Nobody could answer. So he lost all much work he did. So many lectures he delivered. So many letters he wrote. So many articles he wrote. So many books he wrote. Complete works of Swami Vivekananda, 9 volumes will give the volume of books that he has written, Swami Vivekananda, the literary work that is put on. Swami Vivekananda's complete works, 9 volumes. So that is the work he has done. So much work. And he established Ramakrishna Mission. And when he left his body in 1902, there were only 5 centers. Now, after his going away, the Ramakrishna Mission he started, he gave such a leadership skill, he had such a great leadership skill he had, that Ramakrishna is growing. Today 160 official centers, 167 official centers all over the world, so many indoor hospitals, 14 indoor hospitals, 90 outdoor dispensaries and 60 mobile dispensaries and so much of rural and tribal development projects and 6 lakhs of students studying in 1000 educational institutions, lot of work expanding. That was his leadership skill. What a great Karma Yogi Swami Vivekananda. And Bhakti Yogi, he was all Bhakti within and Jnana without, as he said. And Jnana Yoga, his name was Vivekananda. Vivek means discrimination. What a power of discrimination. And Vairagya and Jnana he had. Read his book Jnana Yoga. Read all the 4 yogas. He was helped in all. So Sri Ramakrishna and Swami Vivekananda and Ma Sharda Devi's lives, they tell us how we can combine all the 4 yogas. How the monks and devotees of Ramakrishna Mission, they combine 4 yogas. In the early morning, we have meditation and prayer. Every ashrama, we have meditation prayer in the morning. In the evening, again, we have meditation and prayer. And then we also have a little bit of reading from Gita or some scripture, or the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, or some scripture. And in the evening, again, it's some reading from the scripture. Reading from the scripture is Jnana Yoga. Prayer is Bhakti Yoga. Meditation is Raj Yoga. All the 3 yogas, morning and evening. And whole day, we are working. It is Karma Yoga for the Lord. This is how we are trying to combine. So I say all the devotees have a sandwich sadhana. What is sandwich sadhana? The lady devotees, they know here, they prepare sandwich. How do they prepare? Take 1 piece of bread and then put some masala, some butter, some cheese or some tomato, something you put, and then put another piece of bread, sandwich is ready. So morning, put 1 piece of bread. Oh Lord, whatever I will be doing whole day is all dedicated unto you. 1 piece of bread. And then whole day go on working, that is masala. And night, oh Lord, whatever I have done is dedicated to you. Another piece of bread, sandwich ready. That is the sandwich sadhana, converting worship into worship. So these 4 yogas, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga and Karma Yoga. These 4 yogas, Raj Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, these 4 yogas combinedly make it a yoga. And when we say yoga, we think yogasana. Now you know what a wide coverage it has. Yoga is not only yogasana. Yoga is not only Hatha Yoga. Yoga is not even Patanjali Yoga also. Yoga is only, Raj Yoga is only part of the 4 yogas. Yoga means union with God, union with the infinite knowledge, infinite bliss, infinite existence. I have already taken much of your time. I am extremely thankful once again to Dr. Garote for giving the opportunity of sharing my thoughts with you. And I feel, I am sure today we will have a lot of very good, and still our chairperson is going to speak. I am waiting for his speech, and then many more scholars will come. They will be presenting papers. I am going to remain and listen to their papers also. First I thought I will be going away, but I thought no. After seeing so many brilliant faces and so many scholars, I am tempted to stay back and listen to all these great speeches that will be coming. I really congratulate once again Dr. Bharote for this wonderful conference that is organized, and I am sure with the presenters of these papers and at the end of the seminar, you will have a very clear thinking. Yoga and spirituality not only are complementary, but they cannot be separated. Yoga only a part of spirituality. Yoga will lead, of course, to spirituality, and spirituality is an essential part of yoga. Both cannot be separated. They are watertight compartments in each other, and to separate them will be giving an insult to the word yoga. Thank you very much.
Enlightening us and forcing us to realize the true work and purpose of life, spirituality, the difference between yoga and yogasanas with your words of wisdom and knowledge that you have shared with us. We would now like to break for 15 minutes, only for 10 minutes, and we meet again at about 12:40, the same place. Ramchandra Taure to please come up on the dais.
Swamiji, I cannot help but express the fact that you have made me speechless and perhaps even thoughtless. You are amazing. And this comes right from my heart.